I signed a 4-year, $2.5 million deal. I got the check and it was like for $600,000, $700,000, most money I've ever seen in my life.
A gain of 12 on first down.
I for sure thought I was about to get cut that first year. I was throwing picks left and right.
To the 35-yard line for a first. Martellus Bennett downfield, and Vaccaro.
Came back and had one of the best preseasons of any quarterback in the league at any time.
First down and to the end zone. So the Packers have won it in overtime. Packers out of timeout. And Hundley in a quarterback draw. And he will get into the end zone.
Same thing when I got into real estate. At that point, I knew I wasn't just going to shoot for the stars and hope to land amongst them. I knew that, okay, I needed to learn that. Yeah.
What do you want your legacy to be? Like, what do you want people to say about Brett?
Legacy is not for me. I'm going to be dead. I'm big on energy, man. I want people to know that, you know, when I look at you and I ask, like, how are you doing? Like, I actually mean it. Just people understanding that the thing I bring to this world and the positive energy I give to people, it's just love.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another 11 out of 10 podcast. We're bringing it bigger and better than ever before. Once again, always pursuing 11 out of 10. And today we have an extraordinary local legend, an NFL legend. He's played for 6 different NFL teams, right?
Yep.
Had an 8-year career.
Yep.
One of the most incredible quarterbacks in NFL history. The founder of the Hundley Foundation,
yeah.
A guy that has had an incredible sports career, but beyond that is now branching into real estate. So we're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about mindset. I want to learn your story, learn like what it was like to get into the NFL, all of that, and then talk about post NFL, what you're doing now with real estate. So guys, without further ado, welcome, Brett. So great to have you on the podcast.
Appreciate you having me, man. Excited
Absolutely.
to be here.
Great to see you again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I'll just do a quick intro to this incredible intro. This guy's the warmest, most humble guy. I met him through a good friend, mutual friend of ours, Eugene Parker. Shout out to him. Great local agent. Connected us with a couple of your other NFL buddies for lunch. I had no idea what I was walking into. These guys want to learn a little about real estate. I remember walking in across the street from the village and met these guys. I was like, who are these monsters? You talk about bigger and better than ever. The guy's quads are like, twice the size of my body. He's a beast. I'm excited to really delve deeper because, we've been communicating for a long time now, but consider you a good friend at this point.
Absolutely.
Look forward to doing business with you and super honored to have you on our show. This is great.
Man. Dude, I'm excited. You guys got a great setup, man. I've been waiting to get an invitation for
He's
this.
an 11 out of 10 guy. That's how these Harvard guys do
11 out of 10, or we don't do it.
I love it. I love it.
Well, let's delve into this. Tell us about, you're a local guy.
Yep.
Bring us up to speed about where you grew up, obviously local, and what transpired with sports and who you are, really. Let's get to know you.
So born and raised out here in Chandler, Arizona. Went to Chandler High School, go Wolves, and played football there. Had a great time at Chandler, and then went to UCLA and played there. Got my degree, played ball, had a great career, great time there.
What'd you get your degree in?
Sociology.
Oh,
yeah, sociology. So I love studying people. I love, all that stuff. But I had a great time at UCLA and then got drafted by the Green Bay Packers in 2015. Never thought I'd see the field because Aaron was there, but knew I would learn a lot and had an amazing time. Was there for 3 years, played with him.
Real quick.
Yeah.
What did it feel like when you got drafted to the fucking NFL?
So
like walk me through that.
Great question.
That's like a dream of so many kids out there.
It is. And for me, it was the greatest moment. But it was interesting because you go through the draft process, you go through the combine. I went to that. And man, hated every second of it. But it was really, really cool to go through it, be with your teammates and stuff like that. But I didn't talk to Green Bay once during this whole process. So I got this random 920 area code call, and I thought somebody was sort of prank calling me on draft day. So I was like, this is bullshit. Answered it, and it was the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
And do you still think you're getting punked? You're like, is this really the Green Bay Packers?
And then no, not when I heard Mike McCarthy's voice on the other line, I was like, no, this is real. This is real. And man, it was the coolest and best thing that could have happened. Everybody wants to go, and especially where I was at UCLA, starter, had a great career. But when you get to that next level, you want to play.
Yeah. And then you got legend Aaron Rodgers.
When I got called and it was Green Bay, I was like, well, I know I'm not playing.
Well, but you get to work with the legend,
Yes.
you know, like that. What was that like working with Aaron Rodgers?
That's why I said it was the best thing that could have happened to me, just because of understanding offenses too, just the detail of things and how a pro style is completely different than a spread offense, which is what I grew up with in Chandler High School and UCLA, all spread, and spread is you keep it simple.
Yeah.
Pro style, you're talking playbooks this thick, and if the defense comes out in this front, you need to know not page 546, you need to know the check on page 131 to this run going the opposite direction. So learning that and being around Aaron, watching how he sort of worked and practiced, and still a great friend of mine, still talk to him all the time. But just to be around him like that, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. Not because of just football either, but also just growing up. Like, I mean, I was so young still, and still am. But
how old were you then?
When I got drafted, I was, 21?
21.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, I was
Could
still
you
really,
or could you not drink when you were drafted?
No, I
mean, age appropriate, so you're 21.
Wait, how old am I got drafted? If I want to say, somewhere around, I played for 8 years. So yeah, I was probably 21, 22.
Did you have a big party when you?
Yeah.
I bet.
Where were you? Were you at home or
I was in California, and so I was staying at a good friend's house, and I thought I was big time. And two, this is another coolest thing about getting drafted. You actually get some money finally.
Yeah,
and at this time, I'm dirt broke. I was wearing UCLA stuff, athletic stuff, and so when I finally got the check, I went out and bought a ping pong table.
That's amazing. That's an interesting first.
Yeah.
Are you a good ping pong player?
I'm a great ping pong player.
So am I. I'd love to.
Yeah.
I challenge you because
Come on.
Jewish kid. I dominated ping pong. Come on. Now.
Bought a ping pong table, and I thought it was cool. I went and bought a Burberry coat too. So I was like the first things that I'd never had.
What was that first check? How big was that check?
I want to say my signing bonus, I signed a 4-year, $2.5 million deal. And my signing bonus, this is when I also realized what taxes really meant.
Right.
I got the check and it was like for $600,000, $700,000, most money I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Family, everything. I think after everything, I was at like 300. It was because they take not just 50, but 52% out. It was ridiculous. So I then realized that taxes are
big fucking thing.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the story of me getting drafted, man. Yeah.
Wow.
That is exciting. And
But it
did
was
you dominated in Chandler? You dominated at UCLA. So at what point did you know you were going to go to the big leagues? You had confidence. You're like, I'm for sure going to the next level, or was there still kind of some insecurity there?
Yeah. I think growing up, that was my ticket out. So that was my plan A, and that was the only plan I had.
Wow.
If I was going to make it out, it was going to be football. And I came from a football background. My dad played at U of A. My uncle went to Wichita State when they had a football team. And so for me, it was just something that that's all I had, honestly. And that's unfortunately like a lot of athletes that are coming out. That's all we got. And so for me, that was my one ticket out. And I was either going to see it out or figure my life out after that. And it just one thing after another kept succeeding and kept building. And then honestly, I didn't even start until my junior year of high school. So
wow,
you see all these quarterbacks come in, and I was about to transfer actually out of Chandler. Backstory behind everything, but just because I wasn't even the starter my junior year, and then got thrown in my second game of junior year, had a great season. After that, I stayed the starter, got a couple offers, and then the rest is
like
history.
the Michael Jordan, he tried out for the team, and he didn't even make the team or something.
I was
right?
on JV, man.
Right?
So
That's crazy.
And then from there, just kept growing. I started getting bigger and faster, jogging with my dad in the morning, working out in the mornings, and just developing that mindset, of whatever I'm going to get, I'm going to get it.
Let's talk about that. That's a great point. I mean, part of the reason the majority of the reason why we do this podcast is to inspire other entrepreneurs, athletes, young men and women across the board, and everyone. We don't care how old you are. We want inspiration. We want education, knowledge. We want people to extract, some major takeaways from here.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your mindset. It sounds like, you were all in on football. You had that confidence. What is your mindset like? What is your daily structure? What do you do?
Yeah, routine is everything for me. And I'd say for athletes and high high go-getters. That is your you don't change. And football instills it, but it came before that. So for myself, I mean, I used to wake up, my dad went jogging in the morning. He would jog about 3 miles. And from a kid, it started, I would be on one of those electric scooters and I would just ride with them. And then it turned into me riding a bike when I got a little bit older and would finish the whole thing with them. And then it turned into me running like a mile. And that was all I could do. Then I would sort of walk home. And then once I got to high school, I would do 2 miles and then I would do 3 miles. Then it turned into us racing at the end of 3 miles and where I started beating them. And so that really set the tone for me. But then after that, man, like it's just the desire to always want, like if my mindset's on something, I'm gonna get it, and I feel like regardless of the obstacles, like even in real estate, I'm sure we'll get to it with positive, we're going to talk about it. But even that, it's transitioning out as an athlete, the mindset you have to go from something that you knew, which all I knew is football for my whole life. And that's why that transition's so hard, because you go into something that you have no idea about. You start reaching out to people who you can help and learn from. And you've been a huge success to a part of me. But simple things like that, it's always the mindset. I remember when I started, I didn't even know what a freaking LLC was. I didn't know any of this stuff. But over time, you just keep developing. Like, I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep growing. Started buying properties, got into a couple business things, and then now we're here, man.
He picks up a first down.
Oh, man, look I got to teach my man Zach how to throw a football, but he's teaching me so much today in real estate. I learned so much. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And look, you guys, I learned how to take this trash to cash, and my man taught me everything. It was a true masterclass today.
Guys, if you want to see more content like this, stay tuned every week. We're going to be updating the station. We're going deep. We're throwing touchdowns. We're doing short passes. We're bringing you everything you want to know about real estate. Turning trash to cash, that's what we do. That's what we excel in. And we'll also enhance our spiral throws. Working on it, baby.
Come on, give me a good one. Give me a good one.
Have a good weekend.
There we go. All right, there we go.
So that's incredible. Let's talk about one thing that was really important to a lot of us is physical fitness. I see you today. You're like, I'm rocking at 240 again, the quads there. I'm gonna say, you look like a beast. Last time I saw you, probably 215, 220. You've been doing some traveling. Talk about why today, or are you still working so hard in the gym? How important is physical fitness and mindset and meditation and yoga?
Yes.
How has that played a role in your success before, and how is it playing a role today in your future business career?
For me, the mental behind a lot of things is really what drives me. I'm huge on self-help, meditation, and I would say my career in football actually took off once I started learning this. Growing up, football, again, was everything for me, but I didn't know how to process my emotions. I didn't know when I threw a touchdown how to not think I was going to throw an interception, or when I threw an interception, how to bounce. I did it in football, but it was still my mind playing tricks on me. And it wasn't until I started therapy, I started, journaling, all this stuff every day, that I really started controlling my emotions, which also helped me in life. And so then now I took the same approach growing up with my pops. I wake up every morning, I jog 2 miles, I work out for about an hour and a half. And then, I have my self-talk, I have my journal, I have my meditation when I'm running. My morning routine does not change. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is usually a yoga. Thursday, Friday, same thing. Saturday is usually a yoga, and then Sunday I'm off. And it does not change.
What is your self-talk? Is that like just get yourself pumped up? Like,
absolutely. No,
if you don't mind sharing, what does that look like?
It's just, I think the brain is a very fascinating thing, how you can rewire and retrain your brain into thinking and believing in yourself. And so it's all positive affirmations. Like, I love myself. If I don't, I'm going to speak slow, I'm going to listen more, just things. And my self-talk changes throughout the year. If I feel like I need to work on something, I add it, And so it's a daily routine where I'm checking in with myself. I'm understanding sort of where I'm at in life and maybe the things I have insecurity about or failures on. I might start focusing on those and changing my self-talk. So a lot of positive affirmations. And I learned it actually from a great course. It's called Life Skills. Random enough, in Wisconsin when I was playing, stumbled upon this course, and it was a year long, and it taught me everything I needed to know on being able to control myself, my emotions, and then help my mindset get really tuned in to what I needed to do.
What were some of like the key things you learned that really helped level out?
As far as just in processing emotion,
Yeah, or just in general, like you said that this course really helped you level up. Like, what were some of those things?
I think one of the things is, as men, we're not raised to express our emotions or to even know how to process them. So there's not many men's circles that you're going to get around where somebody, most men are like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
Very surface level, and it's not actually asking you, like, how are you doing? Like, what is up with your life? Like, how are you feeling? What's going on? Once I learned how to start doing that more and being around people and started therapy and stuff like that, it changed my whole perspective on life, just even how I approach my day. When I have obstacles, my mindset on obstacles, and even me playing quarterback in the NFL, I used to have a lot of negative self-talk because I would throw a touchdown and I'd be like, all right, I can't come out and throw another interception. Or, the highs would also come with the lows rather than thinking, and it translates into real life where, Mike McCarthy actually said this, success, you as you achieve, it just continues to grow. So if you keep the mindset level, you're going to always keep progressing. And for me, it was just a very high and low life.
Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine, like, playing in the NFL, there's a lot of pressure.
Oh, mentally, it's crazy.
Like, when you get, like, what does it feel like when you get down there on the field and you got tens of thousands of people up in the stands cheering for you or booing you?
Yeah.
You throw an interception and all of a sudden, like, what that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And you got TV cameras, you got hundreds of thousands of people watching you and cheering for or against you with every move you make.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like?
It is. And that is another reason, too, why a lot of athletes, even myself, I felt it in my transition out. I didn't really want nothing to do with football because of that pressure, the constant pressure. It's not just in the games. I mean, I remember when Aaron went down, that was the one time I got in for Green Bay. We were playing Minnesota, who I had great friends on, Michael Kendrick, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr. We went to UCLA together, and they were starting on the defense. So, to have situations like that was amazing. But I went in there and threw 3 picks, like after Aaron went down. And psychologically, that's really hard for anybody to go in there after Aaron gets hurt and everybody's like, all right, who's next up? Who's leading the Green Bay Packers to victories? And for me, that was a really deep time for me. That this was after I found, before I found, how to process things a little bit better. But just that start to things, that pressure is something that not many people would ever understand. So even me explaining it, like, everything you do, every pass in practice, every step you take, every move, and it's the Tom Brady approach. Like, I'm not going into practice just to practice. Like, I'm here to win. I'm here to beat you out because I know if I slack, somebody's about to take my spot. Yeah. And it's a very fast league. So these guys are coming in hungry to take your job. And this is what's feeding me and my family, and this is how I'm living. And so that constant pressure it's a lot, but at the same time, if you can process it and understand that pressure is just your own beliefs, is on just how you're feeling. Now, I will say, like, if you're going to Walmart, you're going to have 20,000 people walking around you and saying, oh, you're Brett Hundley, you're, the starting quarterback for the Packers. You don't get that privacy as well. That comes with being in those positions. But at the same time, if you ask, like, I knew that's what I wanted. So when I got it, I wasn't finna complain. I'm just going to figure it out and keep it pushing.
Wow.
So it's interesting. You would think of football players and all these manly guys, and they don't want to be in touch with emotions. So it contradicts that whole football mentality. Having now being vulnerable and showing signs of sensitivity and all that, and knowledge and growth, to go back to have that knowledge, you think it would have enhanced your career much greater, having that mental stability and handling the pressure and showing the vulnerability and the sensitivity?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And I tell all the athletes that I train and work with and the young quarterbacks, I don't even speak football half the time. Right, most of the time, I'm like,
"How you doing?"
Like, well, yeah, like, where's your state of mind? Because what you believe, how you process things, like, that translates into what you're doing. I believe we are vibrational. Everything is a vibration. Everything's positive energy, good. And if you have that, you're gonna get it back to you. What you put out is what you receive. And so a lot of the times, that's where I start with most athletes, because they don't know how to process their emotions on the highs and lows when they have 10 million people watching them in a game and they have to throw. They have to go down in the last 2 minutes and score a game. Like, that's pressure that not many people fold completely. And to be able to withstand that type of pressure, to know that if you mess up here, I'm gonna go home and I'm not only gonna have, my social media blasted on, but my wife is gonna have her social media blasted on. Like my family is gonna have, so like that type of pressure is a different beast. But honestly, it's I wish I would have learned it sooner. It would have helped my career a lot, and I had a great career.
Any sport at that level, there's so much pressure because you got the whole bench of guys behind you that wants your job. So I imagine like most people don't last 8 years. Do you know what the average career? 2.3. So you're almost 4x.
Yeah, and the pension don't kick until 3.2.
Wow.
You don't hit your pension until you're 3 years, 3 games in. The average career span is like 2.3 or 2.4. It's such a fast league. So,
what do you think allowed you to have such a long career? What did you do different that the other guys didn't?
I think it goes back to the mindset. Like a lot of people get to the league and they made it. Like I'm here. But it's like once you get there, the work is just starting.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and I was behind Aaron, so I had to watch. I had to see what he did. I had to, and I wasn't even a backup. My first year being there, Scotty Tolzien, which he was a big help of mine as well. So watching these guys work and how they operate, watching him, then going to Seattle and watching Russell Wilson, that is just it's the mindset that you have to have. Like, even though I wasn't playing, I knew I had to be ready to play. And I know I had to be ready to know exactly, like, if I'm called upon in a meeting, I had to know, like, what needed to be said and the right answers. And for me, it was always just preparing like I'm the starter. And it translates into life after, where, all right, if I'm going into this new field, I need to prepare like I'm running a $10 million company. Mm-hmm. I might still be learning, but I know I'm going to get there.
This is interesting. So when you're sitting on the sidelines, did you visualize yourself as that quarterback and going through the plays and putting themselves? So I think that's so important. That translates really well in real estate. And I'll tell you why. Because, again, I tell people all the time, if you're going to go to the casino, you're not going to sit down at the $100 high rollers room and play blackjack at $100 a hand. You may go with your buddy, if you don't understand the game, to watch and simulate as if you're playing. If your money's on line, say, what did they do? Why did they do that? And you'd see where you're at, and it doesn't cost you anything. You're on the sidelines, so you're gaining that confidence and visualization and enhancing your game. Same thing in real estate. We tell people, you don't just jump in and spend $1 million or $500,000 to do some complex remodel. Yep. You get out in the field, you align yourself with someone who's already doing it, you watch, get some level of mentorship, or you bring value to that person. You sit on the sidelines to learn so that you at some point feel confident to get in the game. It's the same thing. It's the same mentality.
Yeah. And it's funny, I don't want to jump ahead here, but that's how I even got started into real estate. Prince Amukamara was my teammate, and I give him so much credit, but Prince is actually Chandler, Arizona native as well. And he played in the league for forever. 10 years plus. He was a great corner for Chicago. And he was my locker mate when I came back to Arizona, and I was behind backup to Kyler. And how I even bought my first property, Prince was an Airbnb. And I was trying to figure it out. I was like, hey, I've been saving and hoarding all this money because I didn't know what to do with it. But I knew that I didn't want to like mess it up, because most players
spend it all.
Oh, screw it all up.
Yeah.
And this is, this is something where I wasn't the major partier and all that stuff. Like, I was very frugal with my money, but at the same time, I knew that I'm not going back to where I came from. Minus do business here, but like how I was raised and I wanted more in life, and so I just used to hoard it. And then Prince was doing Airbnbs. He used to tell me about his property over in Arcadia, and I was just like, all right, cool. We sat down, and he didn't charge me anything. Every day after practice, we sat down at lunch, and he just walked me through everything he was doing. He walked me through how he purchased properties. He walked me through his thoughts on it. He walked me through, and I'm a huge numbers guy. So I wanted to know everything before I even jumped in it. We sat down every day for a year after practice. He would teach me everything he was doing. And I bought my first property about around the corner from where his property was. That was my first one.
In Arcadia? That's a great neighborhood to have your first property in.
It's pretty foolproof, Arcadia.
You can't really screw up there.
Yeah, and that's how I got started in all of this real estate stuff.
Wow. How long ago was that?
That was 2019, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Good
when I
timing.
first. Yeah, that was when I
Oh,
first.
you
came out
probably
here.
did really well. What did you buy it for? What's it worth now?
So
You still own it?
Yeah. Oh, and the first 3 properties never sold them, and I still own them right now. But I bought that first property. Actually, I'm gonna tell you a better story. I bought my second property right there on Indian School, and so it's right sort of on the border of Arcadia. And I bought it for $635.
Yeah.
Now it's worth 1.1.
Wow.
Is this
And
the one
that-
with the delayed construction from somebody? And you had
This
it under
is-
contract and it took a long time by the time they had to sell it?
Yeah,
Is that the house?
So it's not like the neighborhood was still up and coming, but it's a really modern looking. So
Remember
it is.
the house?
Yeah.
The builder was going to sell and everything delayed, but then prices kept coming
Yes.
up.
Yes, and I got a hold of it, and I bought. I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, but this one interest rates were like 2 or 3% too.
Yeah.
And I
Lock
thought
that
it was
shit
normal.
in.
I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Like I'm getting into these things. It's making money, cash flow. And now I'd sit there and laugh because I'm like, man, I made more. This is how I knew I needed to also start transitioning out of football. I remember buying that property. It was $635. I made more, and this was when I was on practice squad in the NFL. I made more money on the appreciation of that property in 1 year than I did playing on practice squad that year.
Crazy.
I was like, there's something I need to know more in this game that if I can sit back and like just not do nothing,
Passive income,
Oh
baby.
my
It's an
gosh.
amazing
He's the
thing.
king of that. Almost
Yeah.
300 properties in his portfolio. 85% equity.
yes,
Absolutely incredible. Like,
So I'm curious about this though, not to deflect, but so going through you're this NFL star and all your buddies making all this money, aren't these like leeches and guys coming out, these money managers trying to extract your money? Talk to us about like,
Yes.
what are people investing into that time? You're
Yeah,
blessed
yes.
that you were hoarding your money and putting in cash, but what is everyone investing in? And I love the fact that your first acquisition was a ping pong table,
Yep.
right? That's it. We're waiting to hear like some Lamborghini or
Yeah.
some 100,000.
Ping pong table.
Robert goes to Old Town and blows $250,000 on bottle service when he visits. You're like, I bought my most expensive thing, $600,000, a ping pong table.
I'm telling you.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So who's coming after you in terms of monies and
like,
management?
I was going to ask, like, did you get? Does the NFL set you up with financial managers? Because, like,
Right.
I mean, if I was the NFL, that's what I'd be doing. Is like, I'd
Mitigate
be educating you
risk.
guys, like, hey,
Yeah.
you're about to get a lot of money, a lot more than you've ever had before. By the way, here's some financial managers to
Yeah.
help you.
That we trust.
That we trust.
That aren't going to
yeah.
steal from
Did
you.
you get
It's-
a financial manager? Or?
The NFL does a lot better job now, and I feel like I did get one, and I had to get rid of them too, and transition onto a new one. But I didn't know what I was doing. The NFL at that time didn't offer nothing. They just say, here's the check. Go
Yeah.
play some football. I don't really care what you do with your money. Just
Right.
be on time. And so I had a money manager, and I'm not lying. My goal, the goal I always said, I said, when I leave the league, I just want $1 million in a stock portfolio, a house paid off, and a car paid off. Because growing up, well, I knew, I didn't want to be broke again, and I wanted a nice place to live and a car to drive, and I wanted it completely debt-free. So if I never did anything again, I could maybe live off of this stock portfolio that pays out, and I already have my rent and my car paid off. I said, if I can get that out of the league, I'm good. Like that will set me up for the rest of my life. But I'd managed to build both of those, or all of them. But I did have a money guy. But now looking at it, I wish I would have changed sooner and found somebody better qualified, because there's leeches, there's people who are with you, and you don't learn this until you're transitioning out, which is a whole nother story of transitioning, because then you start losing everybody who you thought are your good people, your friends who are with you just because you're paying for tables and doing stuff. But that was really when the transition of everything in my life started moving, was when I really started exiting the league, when I sort of had to change a little bit my friend group, the people I surrounded myself with, and even the people I started doing business with. That was the craziest transformation for me, because the people I was doing business with were the people who weren't qualified to do this stuff. The money managers, the people who said, oh, I have a great idea,
Right. It's super dangerous. We got someone. Do you have someone now? Because Casey, JP Morgan.
Yeah.
We can connect you to Casey.
I got a really, really good guy.
You got a good guy now?
He's and I'm on top of it too.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. Your best case, so you've been the quarterback your entire life.
Yeah.
I think it's also important that we're the quarterback of our future for
Yes.
everything, not just obviously, no pun intended, in the football field, et cetera. because nobody cares more about your future than yourself.
Yep.
Nobody cares more about, everyone's, at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck about you. We said that before. Nobody cares at the end of the day. But most importantly, you're a highly intelligent. So funny. I learned so much at lunch. I'm thinking these guys are just some dumb jocks, right? That's what I'm thinking. These guys are going to know anything about real estate. I call you after that meeting and we talked about, we talked with FaceTime and you're like, I ran a pro forma on my simulation. I'm like, what the heck? You were dialed in the numbers, and I go, Eugene, your boys are really smart. I didn't know these guys. I thought they could just throw a football. You really impressed me, delving deep and having the numbers. But again, going back to it, I think there's nobody better to manage your funds than you. You control the future. There's no management fees. There's no nothing, and you have the capability, the aptitude to do the best job, in my opinion.
I remember that lunch, man. It was me, Marcus Whedon. Eugene had set us up, and it was like, hey, this guy, really, really smart, brilliant, has really good feel of real estate, and that's what I'm trying to learn from. Yeah. And dude owns 300-something properties. I'm like, man, you got to be doing something right. I remember I came to that before that meeting. I had a list of questions.
You were dialed in.
I was like, I'm going to get what I need out of this meeting. If I only got 10 minutes with you, I'm going to make the most of this. And it was the best. That really helped me so much.
That was a fun lunch.
Oh, man.
Guys signing autographs every second. These guys walking around. I'm like, hey, how you doing? They thought I'm his money manager. Is that your manager? Oh, fuck it. Can I have my salad? Can we eat? Jeez.
Oh, that was the greatest lunch, man. And then the friendship continued after that. And this dude has helped me, saved me on even deals that I shouldn't have got in. That
When was this lunch that you guys had? Was this
2 years ago?
About 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. It was right there at the Henry. Yep.
Yeah, the Henry.
The Henry.
We ran across the street right after working out.
Yep.
Well, let's get into transition real estate so let's talk about it. Obviously, you had a teammate that was doing well, so he intrigued you and he was coaching you and kind of mentoring you, which is amazing. But of all the things, let's talk about what else you're doing too, and then we'll really delve into real estate, how you're finding deals. I have some really cool ideas for you to leverage your personality. I mean, we're going to go deep on this. But of all the fields, and I'm sure a lot of people are throwing different ideas and endorsements and all that stuff at you, why real estate? And what else are you doing today to make money?
Real estate became a golden opportunity for me. And it started all from that first property I bought. And so after buying that first property, I bought a second. And then there was an opportunity that came up because a lot of players in the area needed management. We couldn't really trust anybody.
Right.
Obviously it's these nice properties that all these players are buying. So I was like, I'll start a management company. And again, didn't really know what I was doing, had to learn a lot. And then it just kept growing. And, started talking to players and started managing stuff. And then I bought a third property. And then we managed that, and then other players who were in the area were like, hey, I need the same thing. And then it sort of started building. So that's really how I got started in all the real estate stuff and how it just sort of trickled into one thing, into the next. And then now, I mean, it's amazing now, and so really I got into the management side of things. And then as well with the long-term holds, managing my own properties. But then on the side, I met a good friend of mine who at the time built the house that I was talking about, that $600,000 house, and now it's 1.1 million. He was the GC for that. And I'd always been interested in developments, and also this is something I never did, and I still have yet to do it. I have not touched any of my money I've made in real estate. I've always said, okay, I want to put this money aside, and I just want to save as much as I can and build so that I can keep doing more opportunities. So I still have yet, all the cash flow I've made from my properties, I haven't touched a dime of it. It just goes back into maybe investments or other things like that. But I also knew, like, hey, I need to figure out a way to make some money. And if I wasn't touching this, and I just wanted to grow and learn and stuff like that, well, then an opportunity came and it was in Arcadia too, that there was a property. I knew this GC. He was a good friend of mine. I knew these projects he builds. He builds these multi-million-dollar places in PV. And then I bought my first development, and I was a brand new. We bought it for $635. Tore the whole thing down, and then built a brand new house in Arcadia Light right there. Nice. And, sold it. Unfortunately, it was when COVID happened too, so all the city and stuff was shut down. But then sold that and made about, 100,000 plus on it. Yeah. And that's what piqued my interest of like, okay, maybe this is an area where I can actually live and survive off of these right now. Mm-hmm. And then it started picking up. Then I started doing, another project. flipped that one. And this time I just did a true flip. I didn't do a brand new build. Made over 100,000 on that. And then that was where I was like, okay, well,
This is working.
Yeah, this is making some money. So then I sort of kept rolling in that field. And that's how sort of all this stuff started building and piecing together, man.
Yeah.
So
see, trust your intuition, trust yourself. No money manager is doing those deals for you. No money manager is making 100,000 or finding these opportunities. They just want their 1 or 2 or 3% or whatever it is and say, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
They're not going to call and say, hey, Brett, how you doing today? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
I just want to retain your assets.
Yeah.
You want to grow, and you've got a good time horizon. You're what, 31, 32?
Yeah.
Yes, you've got so much time behind you
Yeah.
that you can take some appropriate risk, but also mitigate, everything that you've built up, that you've protected so well.
Yeah. And that's the big thing for me is I think as athletes, we get all this money and we have no idea what to do with it.
Right.
And a lot of us think it's going to continue once you get that last paycheck.
Right.
But the lifestyle continues too, but the paychecks stop.
Right.
And so that's where, there's a great show, it's ESPN 30 for 30 Broke. They did a great show talking about sort of the transition of athletes, and where most athletes, I want to say like 85% plus, are bankrupt probably 2 or 3 years outside of retirement.
Yeah.
And that scared the shit out of me. So for me, it was all about, okay, how can I protect this nest egg while still trying to, I got the time, like you were saying, I can take some risk, I can do some things, and now how can I actually try to grow to, one day owning 300 products, stuff like that. That's now my mindset is, okay, I got this little nest egg. Now how can I make it build?
Right.
No.
So what is the expectation too? So it's interesting. Your mindset going into the league is, hey, I want to own a house. I want to own a car. Yeah. And what was the other thing? House,
car, and then $1 million in the stock account.
Exactly, in the stock account.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, that was a limited mindset, as we know, but it's a good, goal. Now, what's the goal? What's is it a monetary? Is it an asset goal? What's the lifestyle goal?
Now, my lifestyle is really, I still don't even, Look, I just got this first Rolex I ever had in my life.
I thought Robert gave you one of his just for the show.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Just kidding.
First one I ever had after all my years, man. So like, I haven't even done stuff. I just like enjoying. I like traveling. I like enjoying other cultures and stuff like that. So I knew for me, that's the lifestyle I wanted to build. But I also had to figure out how can I do both.
Right.
And I started then putting the pieces together on the right team, because then I also realized, and still taken from being a quarterback, it's all about the people you do business with. It's all about your team. And if I have the right people, I can handle my part, they can handle theirs, and we all grow. And so that's what I then started focusing on, where the management company, now we have a full team of people who are managing those. I handle all the back end stuff, a lot of communication, the overhead, and then the development side of things. Again, a good team. Now my plan is to continue the developments, and then, management, I would love to get to managing over 100 doors, but personally, I want to own, I would love to hitting 10 units. Once I get to 10, then I want to get to 20. So now my true goal is just to build liquidity, buy long term, buy long term, and then over the course of maybe the next 5 or 10 years, then truly retire, where I can sit back and just relax and just enjoy traveling, and my wife.
I've noticed, we're boys, we stay in touch, and we FaceTime from Spain or Barcelona. Talk to us about what's going on with travels. And by the way, it looks like you recently got engaged and married within a few weeks. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Man, shout out to my wife, Khadijah Hundley.
Also in real estate, right?
Also, she's a realtor. Shout out. Actually, she sold her first deal. If she's watching this,
Congrats.
This. Sold a $1.7 million condo in Miami. Wow. First one, and just
crazy.
Killing it. So we have a great back and forth. She's a realtor out here in Arizona as well. But honestly, we have been saving for 2 or 3 years. This is before I even retired. And our goal has always been to travel. Like, we love traveling. That's how we sort of reconnected, because we grew up together as kids, went to the same high school.
How cool is that?
It's a cool story. Yeah.
So you've known her for 20
my whole life.
years.
You gotta tell us that story.
You
gotta tell us that story.
Yeah, my whole life, man. It was a very natural type of relationship. I mean, we grew up together as kids, and we kissed in high school.
Yeah.
So I got a smooch in.
Was this before you made the team, or you got you were back on
this is
authentic, real stuff?
Yeah. We used to we grew up together. Everybody like me, Cameron Jordan, Marcus Whedon, Devin Canal, all the guys grew up together. And we used to all run on a track team called the Arizona Cheetahs out here. They still practice, and this is from little kids.
So cool.
And she was a part of that track club, so we all grew up together. And then everybody went to their high schools. And then she went, and she's a track runner too, so she can beat me in a race. Maybe not anymore, but maybe not anymore. But she went to Texas Tech, and then I went to UCLA. And then after some time, we sort of rekindled, and we rekindled traveling. And this is just, we sort of met each other again, sort of started talking, and I was traveling big time at the time. Before I started all the real estate stuff, every off season in the NFL, I would just take a backpack and my photography. I got really big into photography, so every off season, I would then just go. I used to have a deal with GoPro, so I would just go country to country and shoot photography, shoot cool activities
with GoPro.
With GoPro, yeah.
The GoPro
did they sponsor your trips?
Yeah. So they were, and it was awesome.
Cool.
It was a very natural thing. And then I used to shoot for a lot of like tourism boards and activities. So I would literally stay in hostels and just have fun, meet the coolest of people.
You're the NFL quarterback staying in hostels. Are they like,
yes.
Are you fucking, you're not really this guy?
This is the greatest thing though. And this is why I also love traveling. It goes back to, it's when I left the country, nobody knows who I am.
Right.
Nobody, other than they see this big black guy walking around in these random places.
You're an NFL star.
No idea until, and I used to always tell people I was a ping pong player.
That's so cool.
I'm telling you.
How much money did you bring with you? Is there a ping
Come
pong
on, man.
table in this
Come on,
place?
man.
You gotta have ping pong at the Optima. We gotta rip a
Dude, I'm telling you,
session.
I've went into meetings that I've done, and I don't even talk to, I get to know them. If they have a ping pong table, we're playing ping pong table. Yeah, and we'll get to know each other over ping pong.
For sure.
I'm telling you, man. Okay,
We're gonna. It's on.
Yeah,
it's a bet. How many units? Because we're gonna do deeds. We're not betting for money. It's gonna be deeds to properties. All right. So I hope you in those big quads you have some deeds
I got
in
no
there.
cash in these quads, man. I know you're talking the long money, but but man, honestly, we then rekindled. Just to circle things back, man. And I was taking a trip through Africa at the time. I was playing with Arizona. And I was like, look, I got like a 10, 12 country. We were going through Africa, like Jerusalem,
We're in Africa.
Cape Town.
I grew up in Africa.
Did you?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, North Africa.
Oh my gosh, dude. So we're going back to Africa after October. We're just going to spend about 2 or 3 months traveling around there in all the different parts. But that's how we started our relationship back again. We went through Cape Town, Jerusalem, like all the places around there, went shark diving.
You went shark diving.
Man, I got video of that. Shark in the
gotta
cage.
splice some of
Yeah,
that
in the cage. We went bungee jumping in Zambia and I forgot the country that's
Wait, you
right
can't
there.
go bungee jumping if you're still in the league. There's no. You still did it. There's
still
no
did it,
way
man.
they would allow you to do
Still
that.
did it, man.
Wow.
And I just at that point I was traveling. I was really finding myself too while I was traveling, and that's how we rekindled. We just took a random trip through Africa, and Kenny Young, who was another teammate, played for the Rams. He was with us too, so it was just us three traveling through Africa, and that's how we reconnected, and then started sort of talking a lot more, and then next thing you know, 5 years later, we're married.
That's good. I think that's one of the best ways to really get to know someone is travel.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my fiance now, last year we did over 100 flights.
No
Yeah,
way.
he's an animal. Every weekend you'd watch him. Yeah.
That's
I'm
amazing.
a big traveler.
My mom's a flight attendant, and so that's where the traveling bug comes from. She always said, if you can travel with somebody, you can live with them and you can be with them. That's how you can tell.
Best way to figure out if a relationship's going to work.
You can't hide nothing.
Go on a
traveling.
trip for a month.
Yep, you can't hide nothing.
Even
how they
better yet, go
operate.
on a trip for 3 months.
Yep,
There you go.
100%. You can't hide the ups and downs. That is the best way to learn somebody.
Yeah.
I think that's so. I'm just so intrigued by you staying at hostels and you're playing in the NFL.
Yep.
And people, obviously, you're anonymous. I'm sure every once in a while someone's like, "Hold on." So is there a crazy story of someone like, "There's no way this NFL player is staying at this hostel at $12 a night"?
It used to be all the time, and that's why I said
Right.
I'm a frugal man. You can call me cheap. I don't really care.
No,
I got all my money.
that's
No,
what I
no,
would do.
you-
I traveled. I'd stay in the hostels.
That's what I'm saying. No,
absolutely,
for sure.
But
It's-
that's
it's
also
the-
where you meet the great people, right? You can
Yes.
isolate
That's where you have
yourself
some of the
and stay in the
best
Ritz
times.
Carlton,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you know, I like to do it here's a fun thing that I like to do when I go on trips to like a new country.
Yeah.
Is the first night I always stay in a hostel.
No shit.
Yeah.
I would never think you would do that.
Or even like I just did a trip last week all through California. We went camping in a tent.
I saw you guys
know, and
do
then
that.
it was like 140 degrees in the morning. I was like, okay, all right, enough of this tent. Like, let's upgrade. But yeah, what I like doing is I'll start at the cheapest. I'll find the cheapest hostel. that looks like somewhat okay.
Yeah.
And start there and do a couple nights there. And then I'll move to a mid-tier and do a few nights there. And then I'll do a couple nights luxury at the very end. And you know what the funny thing is? Some of the best memories that I've had traveling
cheapest places
are at the hostels.
It's connection. It's the people.
Yeah. I remember in China going to these hostels and it was like $10 a night. It came with a pint of beer. You know, it's like 6 p.m. You get a pint of beer with your hostel stay. And then everyone else, you haven't seen a white person in like 3 months because you've been backpacking through like the mountains and shit. And you get down there and there's like a couple guys from Germany, a couple guys from Switzerland, and everyone kind of speaks a little bit of broken English. And a few hours later, you're best friends, and years later, you're still in contact.
That's the same. That's the same approach, man. I would go, and I have some of my greatest memories on hostels. Most of the time, I did a lot of solo traveling, so I would go and just pop up at a hostel and meet random people over a pint of beer. And then next thing you know, like we're traveling, partying in random places. And the craziest things you would never know, like the greatest pizza spots when you're drunk, it's just fun stuff like that, man, and I've met some of the greatest people.
Dude, traveling. You can't fit in any hostel I've ever stayed. Those beds are teeny. Man, did you have to get a long double bunk? Or I used
to do it, man. Like I said, I didn't check bags when I traveled. I literally have my one backpack and my carry-on.
That's what I did in Australia. One backpack, rolled, simple.
And that was it. It's all you need. And it was all about the experience in the moment, man, and just meeting the genuine people who, again, didn't know who I was or what I was back in the States, but just knew me for my energy, who I am.
That's all that matters at the end. Nobody cares how much money, NFL, whatever. It's cool. It's a story, but that's just a fraction of who you are.
Now, the cool thing about real estate, here's what I love about real estate. You couldn't do this 10 years ago, but today with Investorlift and with like the whole world going virtual, you can, as long as you got a Wi-Fi connection, you could build a real estate portfolio, real estate empire from anywhere in the world. All you need is Wi-Fi
and the right team. Because
you need the right team.
It's again, I don't trust a lot of people. Just like you've had bad experiences. That's why it's important to have boots on the ground, but people that you know and trust. Otherwise, you're going to get burned. That's my opinion.
But if you got the right team, it's possible.
And
you can quarterback from anywhere virtually, right? But as long as you got those wide receivers out there going out and hunting for you, you're good.
And that's how I've been building everything, because I knew what I wanted and what I needed to do to get to that point, because I wasn't gonna just leave. And it took me 2 years. Like I remember being out here when I did retire, and I was out here for about 1.5 to 2 years, and I didn't do nothing but just focus on growing the team, the people, making sure our processes were right. And then it slowly kept building to where I would just be at my office working, and we'd have our morning meetings every single morning. And now, just like you said, with Wi-Fi and a Zoom connection, when I was in, Bali just a couple months ago, I would work from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And it might suck to work on those time frames, but at the same time, like, as long as your routine is the same and it continues, there's no disconnect there, because every morning we have our Monday meeting with the team. We talk about what we need to get done today. We talk about the weekly schedule. We talk about everything that's coming up, the problems, the issues, the deals we're trying to find, the properties. There's so much technology now that you can be virtually anywhere.
I love it. The deals that you've done so far, how did you find those?
Man, honestly, it's just, I have found all my deals from word of mouth and just being connected in the right place at the right time. The first one, actually, I'll take that back. The first, all 3 properties that I found, it was me scouring the internet on Realtor every night, trying to figure out
just Realtor.com.
Just Realtor. And I didn't know the community as well in the real estate world of things. So I used to scour everything. And I remember the first, when I bought it right up across the street from Prince's house, I just randomly popped up. It was sold, and then it fell through, came back on the market, and I reached out and was like, hey, sure enough, I reached out to a realtor, closed the deal for me, and then I started my first Airbnb. And then the second property, same thing, finding it, and then the development I did, same exact, it was on the market, got placed back, got sold, and it fell through, came back on, and I reached out to them, and they were like, hey, I'm willing to get rid of it, for this price. And I was like, cool. Bought it. That became my first development. And then now I've found all my deals through networking, meeting the right people, guys like
Yeah,
Zach.
we gotta get you plugged into the off market.
Yeah, see, that's
where you buy
he
deals.
is
now.
He's
Now
dialed in.
that's where all my
Yeah.
deals come
Now
from.
it's going to be.
He
like,
shows
the
up to
whole-
investment meetings.
Yes.
We'll get you back when you're in town.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
here's my thing: if I'm you and you have a
Yep.
huge strategic advantage, you're well known. You got a zillion followers. You got people want to be around some big NFL stud, good looking guy. How I don't see you leveraging who you are. We talk about this. So giving you constructive feedback like,
Yep.
hey guys, it's your boy Brett. You probably know me from the field. Now get to know me off the field.
Yep.
Let's do some business. This is what I'm looking for. You constantly got to be projecting to attract,
Yes.
what you're looking for, right? If you focus on it enough, it's going to come. But you got to
Yes.
project it and ask for it just like everything else. You knew that you're hyper-focused to go to the NFL. Now you're no longer there.
Yep.
Now you're hyper-focused on building wealth for the next 10 years so that
Yep.
you could retire and travel with your beautiful wife and, do your stuff. So you got to leverage who you are, those connections, but grow it.
Yes.
Because no one's more hungry for those opportunities. No one's going to control your destiny more than yourself.
And I've learned a lot from you, and I had the same thought when I was asking you about how the podcast started. For
Yeah.
me, social media, like I love it, but like, man, it's a full-time job to me.
It
I'm
is.
like, man, it's a lot to go out and after work and doing everything to like sit there. But I now understand the value that comes with it.
Top of mind mentality.
Yes.
People think about it, they realize, I didn't know you're in real estate. Now they saw it. Hey, buddy, I got a friend over there. I just watched you on this. And hey, you'd be a perfect candidate for that. And by
Yes.
the way, what are you doing for, do you raise other OPM, other people's money? Are you self-funded at this point? And that's something you should think about to
Yeah.
really grow and scale your management and all that.
Yeah.
Your connection to the NFL players and the guys that love and trust you, you're likable, highly intelligent, just
Yeah.
all around, you're an amazing individual. Why wouldn't you capitalize on those connections for all these other guys and say, hey, listen, I was taking advantage of, which it sounds like from
Yep.
your first money manager.
Yep.
Now I'm controlling my own destiny. I watched the 30 for 30. I've seen all these guys. I don't want it to happen to me and I'm not allowing it
Yep.
to. Let me be the liaison for you through real estate.
And that's actually what's been happening now, because at first I did have guys and even players who were like, hey, I want to invest, I want to do this. I personally made the decision I didn't want to touch anybody's money until my processes were right.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
like
never
that.
wanted to put my money on
Yeah.
or my name on something where I didn't truly know exactly what I was doing, the belief. And so I didn't touch nobody's money for a while. And still, I mean, I always just want to be very precise on this, especially if I'm going to take other people's money. Like, the one thing I'm not going to do is try to lose, I'm not going to lose it. I'm going to make sure.
And
I
that's
bust my ass on it.
why it'll be easy for you to raise capital
Yeah.
because you're building a strong foundation. You put proof of concept
Yep.
with your own money on the line,
Yep.
and now you can slowly integrate secondary funds and grow this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, utilizing just Investorlift is one thing where you're going to get the deals on Investorlift are going to be 10 times better than your on-market
Investor.com,
deals for
yeah.
sure.
Now
Right,
I
take
do-
it off, Mark.
now I do get a
so
lot
And
of-
then
there's-
speed too.
Yeah.
There's two phases we got to take you through.
Yeah.
I know Zach is get you plugged into the flip lift community,
Yeah.
which is going to be
Yeah.
incredible.
It's going to be, so
2
welcome you to
years.
that.
These
This is
guys
so cool.
spent 2 years filming that course.
Luigi and I right here, he was driving
Really?
with me for literally 2 years. We put together an extremely comprehensive, transparent course that is virtual. And we're building a community from everybody, from all wholesalers, people
Yeah.
that want to get into buy and hold,
Yep.
people that want to be the captain and quarterback of their future,
Yep.
legitimately. And then the synergy amongst the members
Yes.
to watch and emulate the deals and say, wait, I can buy and sell just like Brad and Zach and everybody else in the same community and get deals in the same location.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing.
Oh, I'm in then. I'm
So
in. Yeah.
we'll plug you into that. That will teach you like raising OPM, sourcing off market deals, doing all of that. So that's stage one, is just to move, because you've been doing stuff on market. That's tough. That's really tough. Once you go through this course, you'll learn how to get the off market deals and raising capital and doing all that. But then the step above that, which I'd be happy to teach you how to do
Yeah.
this if you want to learn.
Yeah.
We've actually been looking for someone to teach. Let's go. I'm like,
Let's go.
We've had like a
Let's
few
go.
different people where Luigi's like, we should go take someone that's never wholesaled before and then teach them A to Z and document the process. So if you're down,
I would love that.
I built $2 million per month wholesaling businesses, and I've gotten past $2 million a month. So I know a thing or two about scaling up wholesaling business. So stage one is moving from off market or from on market to off market, where you're now buying from wholesalers. So I mean, you could jump on Investorlift for free.
Yep.
It doesn't cost anything for buyers. All your NFL buddies can go on there too. And you can go in and buy deals from guys that source them directly from motivated sellers. So that's going to allow you to pick up a lot more equity right away. And instead of having to spend months trying to find one deal, you log in and there's thousands available right away. So that's stage one. Stage two, though, what I'm thinking would be really powerful because you're kind of like a local micro celebrity. You know, I think that's really
Macro
powerful.
celebrity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got name presence. Hundley House Buyers.
There we go.
Direct to seller marketing. Do you have a good IG following?
Yeah.
How many you got on IG?
About 100,000 right now.
100,000.
Yeah.
So with Instagram, it's I can't remember who taught me this, but it's a reality TV show with commercial breaks. That's how you got to think about it. So story. Oh, here's me. I'm working on my blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, do you have a house that you want to sell? Are you looking to sell your house fast? I buy houses myself. And go direct to these motivated sellers and leverage that social media. All you need is a landing page. We'll hook you up with a landing
I'm telling
page.
you, I got to do it. Yeah.
I'm gonna hook you up.
So easy for you.
I'm gonna
That's
hook
the
you
thing
up.
is you're
Yes.
Hundley House
underutilizing
Buyers.
everything that you've built up to this
Right on
point.
your page, you got a picture of you with a football, and it's like, you know, like big you and your wife smiling, like.
Well, hello there. Trick or treat? I think not. We're here at the newest acquisition, and it ain't October 31st yet. It's October 29th, and I just put this bad boy in my portfolio. I'm about to take off my gloves, about to go to the bank, and about to get excited because this thing is about to be rehabbed and put in the rental portfolio. I may even flip it. But I love the more distressed, the greater the upside opportunity here. So welcome to the newest acquisition. If you ever see deals like this, you don't know how to digest them, click below. Let me show you how to turn this trash into cash. We'll see you soon.
And then you can source the deals yourself, and then you can really buy deep.
Yeah.
Because then you're not paying the assignment fee too. Because when you buy with an assignment fee, the wholesaler is going to make 30 grand.
Yes.
Then you're picking up another 30 grand of equity on the deals. And I think if you just did social media driving to that page, our biggest costs is real estate wholesalers is the marketing, because we got to pay to get the traffic.
Yep.
We pay
Already
Google for
has
the
the
traffic. We
traffic.
pay Facebook, Instagram. If you got 100,000 followers, all you got to do is pop off some stories. Hey, you're looking to sell your house? Go to HundleyHouseBuyers.com today, and we'll give you an instant cash offer for your house.
See.
And then you'll just have leads coming in, and you just underwrite the properties and make good offers. And then that's stage 3 is going direct to the seller.
See, that's exactly where I'm trying to get to, because I'm sourcing all my deals off market, all the developments I've been doing. So I've got into that, but I've yet to start utilizing my social media to really start boosting.
And here's one more
presence.
thing, just a little icing on the cake to add on to that's all brilliant. People you talked about, and I want you to get exposure for your foundation, okay? People want to do business with people because there's going to be an additional advantage for us. You say, if I buy your house, X amount of money goes towards your foundation of the profits.
huge.
And so people are going to say, so not only when you sell me the house, great, you meet some great celebrity and you're an amazing guy, but most importantly, it's really the legacy factor for what you're building.
Yes.
So it's really important because, look, there's a million house buyers. How do you choose which one? Because if you work with me, you're going to save dogs. You're going to save people with epilepsy or whatever the cause is.
Yep.
And you show and you prove and you write the checks. You stand behind it. You have an amazing following and charitable stuff that you do. It's
talk to us
incredible.
about that.
Let's talk about the foundation.
Man, that's been my pride and joy, man. My sister was diagnosed with epilepsy when she was 11, I was 10, and grew up, watching her battle. She was a track athlete as well, had to stop all the medicine she was taking. Just really hinders all that stuff. So she had to stop track. Now she's seizure free, which is good. Has 2 kids. So amazing. She's doing great now. But just to see that, it was a struggle growing up as a child, especially watching that and being a caretaker. And so we used to keep it really close to our chest until I got to UCLA, and I randomly said in an interview that my sister has epilepsy. And then next thing you know, we got connected to the Epilepsy Foundation of Los Angeles and started doing a lot more with them. That was when my sister finally started filling her voice in the things she had going on and what she was battling with. And then, they have these big walks at the Rose Bowl, and it worked perfect because I was playing there as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And so we started doing that. Then we started teaming up with the National Epilepsy Foundation, doing a lot of work with them, went to their walks in DCs and a lot of stuff. And that's how we met Rick. And then after that, man, me and my sister came together and we were like, look, man, like we really want to affect the community that's helped us, that helped Paris when we were trying to figure this out. And a lot of people in that epilepsy circle really just weren't getting enough attention. And so then that's when we were like, all right, let's start our own foundation. And it was the craziest. I started it just like, look, man, I just want to give back. I want to do good for the people who are going through these same issues. And, we made our mission statement to help children and families in need. And we left it broad because we wanted to impact epilepsy, but we also wanted to do a lot more with other things that were going on in the world. So we started it, and we started making some good impact. And then we hired our CEO at the time, Danielle, and Rick came on. And then we just started getting a whole bunch of people, man, from the Epilepsy Foundation who came over, and it kept growing. And this is while I'm playing too, so I didn't necessarily have all the time in the world, but I just knew making the decisions on like which stuff we're going to impact. And now, man, like I said, this is like my passion project is the foundation. So now we again have a director in California, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan. We just hired one. And we do a lot, man. Like outside of the poker runs that we do here in Arizona and then in Vegas, we do a lot of community events. We rent out movie theaters. We have first-time father programs with Eisner Health in California. It's a hospital and it's free to all first-time fathers. It's a 16-week course, and this is why I said I'm big on the therapy.
Send Robert over there for sure.
I'm telling you, yeah, man. Welcome to join, man. And it really just is like a full 12-week course where it walks you through even all the relationship stuff with being a father and the mother-daughter connection, the mother-son, just everything about being a father. And that was a really cool course. We're still doing that. But we do a lot, man. And, honestly, that was the biggest thing for us. So everything we get, everything goes into the community. So if there's a need, man, we just kept growing. And now it's awesome to be able to see the impact that we're making around the country now,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that leads me to this question. You're an amazing, humble guy. It's so cool to get to know you on this level. I love these things. I mean, we really delve deep in the vulnerability and transparency. It's great. What do you want your legacy to be? Like, what, at the end of the day, we're all here for a limited period of time.
Absolutely.
What, you leave this worth people at your funeral. What do they want? What do you want people to say about Brett?
Man, great question. I forgot where I heard it. Legacy is not for me, but, especially because I'm going to be dead, but when people are around me, I really want that. I'm big on energy, man. I want people to know that, when I look at you and I ask, like, how are you doing? Like, I actually mean it. I want to know how you're doing. I'm not here for the surface level stuff. I want to know you. If I'm for damn sure doing business with you, I want to know you and what you're about, your culture, how you operate. And that's a huge thing of mine. And I believe, if everybody succeeds, we all eat. But at the same time, there's a standard that has to be set. So I think just people understanding that the thing I bring to this world and the positive energy I give to people, it's just love, and I think that's how I try to carry my life out.
I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And when you wake up in the morning, what motivates you today? Obviously, I'm sure it's different at every time, but at this juncture in your life, post NFL, you wake up in the morning. What are you excited about? What gets you, rolling?
I'm in a new field, man. This is, now I feel like I'm starting to hit my stride. The management company, we're managing about 12 short-term rentals in the area. The developments, like I said, I finally got into the off-market stuff. Now we're starting to roll with those. So we got a new development going on. And honestly, it's just, I found the passion that I have for football now in real estate.
That's beautiful.
So now everything that I used to do for football, the same mentality, waking up at 6:30 in the morning and work, that's what I do in real estate now. So I wake up and I'm hungry. I wake up, I have my morning meetings with the team, set the management off. I have my meetings with the development, set them off. And no matter where I'm at, we're working. And I think that's always just been my mentality is, look, we have to push the threshold. If I'm, and this is the same with football, if I'm not the starter, well, damn it, I need to work harder. So if I'm not hitting the goals that I need to, if we're not making the change or making the progress that we need to, well, then it's time to increase our standards. And for me, that's really what wakes me up in the morning, man. Every morning, no matter where we're at, no matter where we're traveling to, I'm up early. And my wife even knows, look, in the morning, that's my time. That's my time. Like, I need that to get me right. And it's just a part of me now. So I think that's the biggest thing. Every morning when I wake up, man, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to get something.
You ever think about politics?
No.
Never.
No, never, man.
He would crush it.
I see too much now, man.
You would crush it.
I see too much.
I mean, you're a leader. You're a leader.
Yeah.
You just have that innate, ability and personality.
Yeah.
You got me excited. I'm thinking about motivating me, increase standards,
I'm telling you.
I'm a no complacency guy as well. You constantly got to be growing and learning and pushing the envelope, and it's
I
exciting.
feel like a lot of times too, this is a funny story, but it changed my mentality in my transition out of football. It was this, I went out, just had a drink, and it was this retired Army sergeant that was there, just randomly talking, shooting shit with him. And he looked me dead in the face, and I was telling him about my transition. I just retired, just finished with Baltimore and the XFL and stuff. And he looked me in the face. He was like, you'll realize in this transition, because I didn't know what I was going to do either, or I knew what I was going to do. I was just sort of getting into it. But he was like, you'll realize that most people are just lazy.
Yeah.
And so if you show up every day, you're going to beat 99% of the people.
Yeah.
Changed my whole perspective. I mean, it was already what I was doing regardless, but that to me just made me even hungrier. So now that's why I'm like, look, if I know I want to have a big management company that's managing all the properties in Arizona because we're the best, and not just because I say we're the best, but because we're actually delivering the results that we need to deliver to the people who are owning these properties. And if we're developing the properties that not just are beautiful properties, but we're buying them right, we're selling them right, it's the right, like that to me is what, and all I got to do is work. That's the foundation of everything.
Extreme focus on anything
Yeah.
for an extended period of time will get you to whatever goal you want.
Yes.
And I always tell people, I'm like, you do not fail until you quit.
Yes.
You don't fail until you quit. And most people quit right before they would have hit it big.
Yeah.
If you just stay focused on one thing and just go at it every single day and let the world know, here's where I'm going. Here's what I want to do. The world will bring you all the resources and opportunities you need and will make it happen.
Yes. And I'm here sitting here now. But
Yeah.
I would have never
the
thought
man.
after, transitioning out the NFL and even getting into real estate. But now I'm here, and I think that's the cool part, to look back on when things started. And I had no idea, again, what an LLC was, trying to create things, trying to figure out how to learn in the management world and all that. Now I'm like, let's eat, let's roll,
go.
and it's awesome to look back on it.
Yeah.
I think the two of us you got our numbers.
Yeah.
And if you need anything at all, we want to.
He's going to be in the community. We're going to see him all the time. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. We're going to have you on FlipLift.
Yeah, please.
And let's get you to 10.
Please.
We should set a time frame. What do you got now? How many do you have now?
I own 3 right now. So they're all short-term rentals, but I want to get to 10.
Do you want to get to 10 before the end of the year?
I would love it. I would love it.
Get them
That's
there.
gonna be our goal.
That's
let's
easy.
go.
That's easy.
But good deals. It's easy to buy
Yeah.
to buy a property.
Yeah.
It's much harder to buy a deal.
Let's get you
People
7
get confused.
good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have this tradition on the show.
Hold on, one more big question, then we're gonna hit to this. Sorry to interject.
Yeah.
I'm curious from, you've been around the best of the best your entire life in terms of NFL, trainers, and health. And a lot of people, realize the importance today. If you don't have your health, you don't have your wealth, which you can agree. You're constantly pushing the envelope an hour and a half a day in your workouts. Yeah. What have you extracted from being around the best nutritionists and trainers in the world today for everybody that's watching that we can implement in our lives to be at the top of our game mentally, but most importantly, physically?
And that's a great question. I've been in great positions because growing up like I did in that routine, but to be around and with Aaron Rodgers every day. And that's sort of where I got my base from. To go to Russell Wilson, you pick up these things from these guys where, like, Aaron, probably one of the smartest human beings I've ever been around, ever.
Even smarter than Robert?
I'm telling you, he gave Robert a run for his money right now.
Okay.
Brilliant dude.
Brilliant,
And then to be around Russ, who never took a day off, like never. Even in the off season where, I learned, which is where I got yoga from Aaron, and just in the off season, let my shoulder rest. Russ is an everyday, I'm gonna get it type of guy. And just being around those, that's really what allowed me to really build really who I was. And as a man and what I'm doing now, all that stuff really culminates to where I am today and made me into who I am and sort of why I'm doing the things I'm doing and where I'm going, now.
So, like, even deeper in terms of these guys are amazing. You got firsthand experience to watch them and their consistency and their intellect. But what about, like, things that we can integrate, whether it's certain foods did they eat, or was it their training sessions, and what really got you to the highest peak level from a physical standpoint, mental standpoint?
Physically, I would say, and it's crazy too, because there's about 10 million diets out there that people want to try. The fasting, you want to stick to something that you can do. everything is consistency based. Everything is routine. That's why if you can build a good routine down, most people quit. Most people after 2 weeks or, January 1 hit and everybody's in the gym working. But November, I mean, it might be 20% who's in there.
Yeah.
And I would say 99% of the time, it's really just showing up every day. If you're going to do a diet, whatever it is, and whatever it's fasting, and there's studies that show this, if you can just pick something that you actually stay with, that is going to pay dividends down the road. That is the biggest, where most people just quit. So I would say the mindset is really the first thing you got to grasp. And most people just quit when it gets hard. Well, that's not the right time to quit. It's most of the time when, things are about to get good after that.
Right.
And then mentally, it's also understanding that, that's, I guess, goes to the first part is your mindset. If you can get the mindset right, if you can start building a routine and understanding that even if I wake up today and I'm not feeling good, I'm sore, my body hurts, I don't feel like doing this, I went to sleep at 12, I don't care, I'm up at 6, 5, whatever it is. But building a routine, because I've found that once you get 2 or 3 weeks into your routine, maybe a month, after that, it's sort of hard to stop. So no matter what, physically, mentally, whether it's reading, if you said you're going to read, have one thing that helps me a lot is I have daily agenda things. So like I know every day, like I have in my journal, I know my daily journal, I have, okay, did I journal? Did I meditate? Did I self-talk? And then over time, I can actually see how I've been doing. So maybe 1 month, it might have not been good. Well, okay, let me change it this next month and get on it. So I think also having the capability to go back and be able to reference the things you're doing and the amount that you've been able to do. But for me, it all starts with mindset. If anybody's watching and, they're figuring out, okay, I want to do this. Well, okay, then do it, and get out there, and you might fail 20 times first. Nothing's easy in life that's worth it, so you have to just wake up every day. And if you really want something bad, you're going to take the time to do it. You're going to take the time to learn. You're going to take the time to reach out to the people who can help you, and for me, that's always been the way of approaching things. You get your mindset first, then everything else follows.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's funny how you finished it off. There was lightning that came out. I was like, boom.
Storms,
amazing.
man.
Mic drop, lightning drop. That was great. All right, Roberto.
Real estate Jenga, how this works, we have a bunch of blocks that each block has a question. So what you got to do is pull a block, answer the question, and then we have a blank block here that you're going to write your own question for future podcast guests. You write your question on one side and then sign it on the other side.
I like it.
All right. So go ahead, grab whatever block you want.
Pull a block.
Pick wisely and don't knock them over.
Yeah, what if it falls? Is there
Then you gotta answer the
You're
block.
fired. We have to start recording again.
Yeah,
They always go in the middle. It's so funny.
Come on, all right. What books? Oh, this is a great one. What books have changed your life the most?
Who wrote it? Did anyone sign
Doesn't
it?
even say a name.
Oh,
You
then
probably
it is
wrote it.
mine. I had to start it
okay.
off with
Okay.
a few of my own.
Yeah. For me, what really helped, what really sort of set my tone, there's a lot of good books by Don Miguel Ruiz, random enough, and this is just one art, that comes off really strong. But I started reading a bunch of his books, and honestly, that changed my whole perspective of a lot of things too. This is when I was going through all my, figuring out life. But Don Miguel Ruiz, if you never picked up one of his books, pick it. He has some great books. The Four Agreements is his most popular one, but even all his other ones are amazing. But I would say him as just writing all those, that really helped me.
What do you think you learned from what's a big insight that you learned from those books that has had a big impact in your life?
I think just mindset, for him, how he writes is a lot of self-help and stuff like that. But for me, it was really just understanding that a lot of the things that he was writing is all about perspective too. And so in situations, when you're in these situations and maybe life isn't going the way you want it to, just having the perspective to know that the sun's going to rise tomorrow, you're going to wake up, you have a new opportunity to get what you want to get done. And for me, again, it changed my life and perspective on how I go about my days, how I interact with people. And I would say just off the top, Don Miguel Ruiz was one of the greatest. Yeah.
Have you read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Man, I can't remember
I think you would like it. I think that was one book that had the biggest impact on my mental mindset.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a copy.
Please.
You'll great book. I used to read it once a year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good
Now I have it
multi-read.
almost memorized.
He's probably writing his own book.
Have you read that one? Have you read it?
Bro, I think I've read one book my entire life. I'm pretty much,
You're not a big books guy?
No, I'm a doer. I don't have.
Album.
I have ADHD. I admit it. I tell you, my dad thinks I've read one book my entire life. It's probably true. 2. Who Moved My Cheese was one book because it's quick and big block letters. And 2, the Isaiah Thomas story. Loved Isaiah Thomas growing up. Great basketball player, Detroit guy. He really inspired me, and that's all I read. I'm about face-to-face energy, doing stuff. I pick it up, by actively doing it, rolling up the sleeves.
Well, you're actively applying what they teach in Think and Grow Rich. So
there you go.
I'm
happy to. You recommend it. I'll read it. We'll get in a book club.
Yeah, I'm gonna get for you.
Well, following up on that, the answer is interesting. I mean, we've heard a lot today about how it seems like everything's smooth and kind of you've ridden the roller coaster to the top. Talk about some of the stuff some of your setbacks. Did you have any injuries and issues growing up, and how did you overcome those with your positive mindset? And talk to us about some of these hardships.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny because I feel like especially in the league, everybody looks and you're there, you're getting the money and stuff, but you don't see like the actual hardships that you have to wake up every day and get to doing these things. And for me, I mean, one, not playing was the hardest thing. I remember when I first got to UCLA, I was trying to actually take it back to even high school. Before anything, I was still playing freshman JV, and I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I probably wasn't as good as I could have been at that time, but just being ready for the opportunity. For me, not starting even in JV, that's something where once you're a junior, most of the time these quarterbacks have everything set. All right, they're starting. I didn't start until my 3rd game of my junior year. And random enough, I went to Colorado a couple weeks before, before the season started, and went just by myself and tried to compete at this camp. Ended up picking up my first offer. So like stuff like that is, and take that back because I got the offer, and then I went back to back to Chandler thinking I'm gonna be the varsity quarterback. I got a freaking scholarship. Benched, and I was actually playing receiver when I first started the season on varsity. So moments like that where I'm breaking down crying to my dad, like, dude, like I'm busting my ass trying to do it.
What did the coaches not see? What were they missing, or what was the issue?
I think at that time too, the quarterback position wasn't what it was now, where now you got Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, all these cats, Deshaun Watson, you had Aaron Rodgers, but at that time, the quarterbacks were Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. You might sprinkle Donovan McNabb in there, but he was a random, but still a great player, Michael Vick. But it wasn't, people saw me, and that's why also I never told people, it's funny, I've never got somebody saying, oh, you play ball. And I say, yeah, and, never got somebody to say, you play quarterback once in my whole life. So at the quarterback position back then wasn't what it is now. And so I was an athlete. That's why they put me at receiver. And then from there, but I always knew I wanted to play quarterback.
When you say it wasn't what it is now, how has it changed?
The quarterback position has changed tremendously over the years because now you're getting where when I was raised and growing up, it was a lot, he's an athlete playing quarterback. Because, I can run, and the running part of the quarterback wasn't as prevalent as it is now. So when it was like, okay, well, he can run. He's better than, most of these people running. Let's put him at running back. Let's put him at receiver.
Yeah.
Well, I also could think. I could also break down a defense. I could also tell you just because the safety takes 2 steps down that this defensive end's about to go and they're about to bring and I know I'm going to throw the ball over here hot because I'm, I can process. But that wasn't what, if I was athletic, which I was in high school, well, that's why I got put at receiver. That's why I got picked at running back. And now the quarterback position is what it is now, and you sort of want a multitude because you got guys who are 6'5", running a 140 who are chasing you. So half the time, and that's where Aaron Rodgers was a big thing, is because now, most of the plays and touchdowns are made off of broken plays. So you want a quarterback who can scramble. You want a quarterback who can run and make a play. And even, Aaron Rodgers isn't the fastest, but he's fat. He's quick as shit. Like we used to compete every single day, every day. In
he doesn't look that quick.
Doesn't at all.
But he's quick.
Dude used to whoop my ass every day.
Wow.
And it was because, I'm hungry. I'm trying to beat Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Every single day. He would beat me in jump rope. He would beat me in ball drills. He would beat me in ball speed, quarterback, everything. Until finally I started figuring out how to get better in make small increases, but just going through stuff like that where, you want to be great and you're going to reach success, but being limited and held back in the position of, okay, well, I'm going to put you at receiver. Well, damn it, I'm not a receiver. I'm a quarterback, and then finally getting the opportunity in moments like that, even when I was at UCLA, not getting when I actually came out to UCLA, I actually got boosted up. So I was a top 10 quarterback in the country at that point. So I'm like, I'm going in here starting, all in. I'm about to go to the league in 3, benched. Redshirted my first year.
So again, it's like real estate, delayed gratification.
Yep.
And just so, did you become more patient, or how do you overcome? You said it yourself, top 10 in the nation. You're coming in hot, and the coach is like, "You're on the bench." You're like, "What is it? Did I miss something? Did you not pass the drug test? What's the deal?"
Yeah. The interesting thing as I reflect now is that every step, every new thing, going from high school to college, where I wasn't ready to compete in college, there was such that gap that you had to bridge, because everybody who was already there in college was already playing at the college level. I'm high school thinking, okay, I can go in here and just ball. No, offenses are different. We were running a pistol at that point, which was completely different too. And I knew I had to bridge that gap, and it transitioned into everything. When I got to the league, I for sure thought I was about to get cut that first year. I was throwing picks left and right. And then I had to go back, and once we got out of training camp, and I took that playbook and I drew the whole thing out, because that's how I learn. I have to write things down. Every day I would just write. I learned it, came back, and had one of the best preseasons of any quarterback in the league at any time. And so that's the gap you have to bridge, and then you start competing actually going after it. And same thing when I got into real estate. At that point, I knew I wasn't just going to shoot for the stars and hope to land amongst them. I knew that, okay, I needed to learn now.
Yeah.
That's where Prince came in. Learned from him, and then from there I started meeting others, started learning, started developing, met great people to help me in the management game, met you, helped me with even deals and things I've been going through now, and then things kept progressing. And so now it's like, okay, now I'm amongst the right people. I have the resources.
Yeah.
Now it's like, let me go get it,
You put in the time, you're very patient.
Yeah.
Just like anything, NFL, real estate especially. I love when these people come in and say, I want to own hundreds of houses just like you. I'm going to do that next year. Like, good luck. Let's start with one. It's like, easy, young man. You're a freshman at UCLA. I'm ready to start the game. Easy, young man. Let's watch some plays. Let's do some practices. Let's do some hypotheticals.
Yes.
It's the same thing. Delayed gratification, put in the time, doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
Play the long game.
Yeah, I'm a big F1 fan. And what's interesting is when you see the drivers in F2, there's maybe one spot. There's only 20 drivers in F1. So you got millions of drivers around the world competing for 20 spots. And only about one spot opens up per year. So you might have 1 million people competing for one spot. Now, what's interesting is you'll see guys completely dominate in F2.
Yeah.
They're just dominant. And then they get into F1, and the ones that are really cocky, they never last more than a few races.
Yep.
I was listening to an interview with one of the team managers, and he said, when I put a new driver from F2 into F1, into an F1 car for the first time, they don't understand how different it's going to be. Yeah. So I always tell them, I'm like, don't even try to score in the points. I want you to do one thing and one thing only. I want you to go out there and just enjoy the experience. Just enjoy the experience, because if you try to go out ham and you think you're big shit and you're competing against the top 20 guys in the world, and some of those guys have been on the track for 10, 15 years, you're going to end up in the wall.
Yeah.
And we see it happen every single season. These young cocky guys that come up from F2, they get into F1, boom, in the wall. Career's over before they even finish the season. And I think it's the same thing with anything. In real estate, we see guys coming in all the time. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have a $100 million portfolio in 24 months. And they come in, they buy the dumbest shit. Right. They hire the worst contractors. They go too fast, too hard, and they hit the fucking wall.
Yep.
So like Zach always says, almost every podcast, delayed gratification, play the long game. Yep. So I think your goal of getting to 10 properties, that is the perfect goal. Yeah. It's not too aggressive. It's not too crazy. And then once you get 10, we're going for 20. And once we go for 20, we're going for 40. And just keep on working your way up. You're 31. by the time you're 40,
Yes.
you're going to have a real estate empire here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
the goal. Man. That's
And
the
you
goal.
will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're building the perfect foundation, the greatest mindset. You know, I look up to you in that mindset, and in a lot of ways, it's super cool to have that collaboration, the synergy, to sit down here. It's a humbling experience. It's beautiful.
And you have a bunch more NFL guys that want to get into real estate, right?
Yes.
Can we do something, Zach?
Yeah, why don't we do
Can we
an
do-
education, like a little group for them?
Let's give the NFL guys, if you're watching this here in the NFL, we're going to give you free access to Fliplift.
Ooh,
They would
I
love
like
that.
You
it.
down?
Let's
You
do that.
down for that?
Absolutely. Let's do
Man,
that.
they
Yeah,
would
let's
love
get
that.
them in the community. Let's get
$8,000
it.
course. Anyone from the NFL, if you're watching, just message us. We're going to give it to you guys for free.
That's huge.
Yeah.
You guys going to get a lot of people hit up.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because listen, it's so important. Like you say,
Yeah.
you've worked so hard. You've been the quarterback. You've been the captain of your domain your whole lives to achieve this level. To then default and let somebody else control your future destiny after that
Yeah.
is foolish. Teach these guys to be their own captain domain financially.
Yes.
You should add. I want you to add some mental components to it. Because
yeah.
we should do a mental video with the consistency. That'd be a fun video to do. We'll add it. And it's an organic course, right? We all learn from each other and elevate our games. We all eat together. There's an abundance
Yes.
of opportunities for everybody to win. That's what's beautiful about this game.
Yes.
Everybody can go to the NFL in real estate, right?
That's very true.
Everybody can throw that football in the real estate world. It's a beautiful thing.
And I appreciate you guys opening that up, because there's a lot of guys, and where I said at first I wouldn't touch anybody's money because I wanted to make sure I was doing it right.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm opening my doors, and I have more so as I've been growing and developing into where I'm at now. But there's so many players who want to learn this stuff, want to learn real estate, who want to learn buying. I mean, I've been to courses, the business school now, and there's great program where these guys just want to learn now. And, you know, they're starting in these, we don't know, you know, we've done football our whole life. So these opportunities are huge for us athletes. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got to have you do, every new guest fills out a question. And
we
as
go.
you do that and you think about it, I have one other question for you.
Signature.
There we go. Let's do this.
As you're thinking about your question, one more question for you. Who's the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, in your opinion?
Oh man,
Besides for you.
that's a
Listen.
I have to go with Aaron.
Aaron
I have
Rodgers.
to, man. The things I've seen this man do on the football field are unreal. And not because he is physically gifted, but like mentally, the things I've been able to see, the no-look passes, even how that even garnered attention now, and how, Brett Favre actually started that stuff. That's where Aaron learned it from. But now Aaron really perfected it and took it to the craft, which is now you see all these dang quarterbacks doing it. But Aaron is special, because he could process on. I still remember it was cover 2. This is in practice. He's looking this way, and in cover 2, you got the mic with the vertical running, throws it like this, and just a dime. You do not, actually, I'm going to give you an even better story. I remember we were playing Seattle when Seattle was Seattle, Legion of Boom. You got Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner. You had the team. Well, Aaron is so smart in processing. He knew that when he broke to the left, Richard Sherman was on the right. Richard always slacks off, where he always starts falling off from the receiver he's covering because he's in his cover 3 zone. Well, he knew, okay, on the sideline, look at James Jones. I'm gonna roll to my left. Richard's gonna slack a little bit. You're gonna then take it up, and we scored on that play.
Wow.
And you guys think I'm crazy. Even the play when we were in Dallas in the championship game just a couple years back, where Aaron rolled to his left and threw a really crazy pass to the tight end on the sideline, Jared Cook. Phenomenal play. Everybody talks about it. He drew it up on the freaking, on the sideline. We were literally all right, we got 10 seconds, 12 seconds left. He's all right, David Bakhtiari, I'm going to hold right here, and then you're going to get out to the left and give me a block. He scrambled to the left. He said, all right, this is what they're doing. Jared, you're coming all the way from the right side, scrambling all the way to the left. And then we won the game in the playoffs. People don't know how good Aaron is. Tom Brady's great too.
Didn't Richard Sherman, didn't he go to Harvard or isn't he a really smart Stanford? I knew he came from a really.
And he wasn't even a corner at first. He was I want to say he was, I don't know, running back or something like that.
Does he have a twin brother, another brother that played in the league?
I think he does, yeah. But Richard, brilliant, man.
I heard he's really
brilliant.
Smart.
Yeah.
Robert Wensley, but who goes to Harvard?
Investorlift sells 3,000 to 5,000 properties a month. And the cool thing is, the reason this company is worth so much, they have all the data. They know everything about every buyer and every market, in every property.
Every buyer in America has a profile.
Every buyer in America.
So then what? I write my
Whatever question you have
want.
and sign it.
Yeah.
Any question you want for the future guests, so they pull it out
In the
and
future,
sign
we're
it.
going to take these all. We're going to put them between two glass walls and hang them from the roof in the office.
Oh man.
It's going to be cool. It's beautiful.
All right.
What's the question?
What is your deepest fear?
What's your deepest fear? Love it. What's yours, by the way? You got to have your answer.
I said it earlier too in this. I said I didn't say it was my deepest, but pretty much my deepest fear is to go back to where what I came from, what I did. Like that is one of my deepest fears, and that's why I work so hard too. Because I'm not going back, and to obviously taste this side of things. Now I'm like I gotta eat. I gotta eat. That's probably my deepest fear. Is losing everything at this point.
Well, the great thing about real estate, you can have a stock portfolio. You can have your stock portfolio go to zero. You got a real estate portfolio you can touch, feel it.
Right.
That shit ain't never going down.
Tangibility of real estate. Yeah.
That's why I love real estate.
Absolutely.
And that's the
Love
thing
it.
is you look at the equity market in your stock portfolio, you say, it could be $1 million you came out, but institutions can move that, and you're the last person to respond. That thing can go down 50% in one day. Your real estate portfolio is not going to go down 50%. And if you're strategically levered and you're strategically, conservative in what you're doing, you have the stay power. Just like with volatility and time frame, you're good. You can offset that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm telling you, this real estate game has changed my life, has helped me transition into feeling comfortable through this transition.
What's a better game, NFL, football, or real estate?
Real
There
estate.
you go.
Hands
Mic
down.
drop the end.
Hands down.
You heard
That's a
it here
mic drop.
first.
You don't, real estate by far.
There you go.
tear my
Real
body
estate
up.
is a better game
Yes.
than the NFL. You heard it here.
here
Mic
Yes.
drop. We're done.
That's it.
Any final words, Roberto?
We got to get you some deals. So, guys, if you're watching this and you are in Arizona, you have off-market deals, help us get Brett to 10 deals in his portfolio by the end of the year. What's your IG handle?
At Brett Hundley 7.
At Brett Hundley 7. We're going to drop
tag
that
it.
on the screen. Send Brett a DM if you got a hot deal. Don't send garbage deals, just the best. Let's get you to 10 deals before the end of the year.
Man, if I could do that, I'm telling you guys, we'll be celebrating.
Well, I look forward to it.
Celebrating.
I
do
look
too.
forward to it.
We'll do a good end of the year New Year's party.
His celebration is like, come over for celebration. It'll be ping
pong,
pong,
baby.
natty light. It'll
Yes.
pick up some fillets at Safeway.
Yes.
Let's be frugal.
Let's
All right,
go.
let's not go
I'm
too
going to
big.
Zach's house, baby.
There you go. Let's do it.
I love it. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this 11 out of 10 podcast. If you have other people you want to see on the show, drop in the comments below. If you enjoyed this episode, drop 11 out of 10 in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you want to learn how to build a massive 300 property portfolio like Zach keeps, his $8,000 course. This was an $8,000 course. It's now available. We're doing an early bird pre-sale on it, just $98 a month. It's not going to be like that forever. We're just doing it for a little bit of time. So do not snooze on that opportunity. The price is going to go back pretty soon, but jump
Brett
on
and
it.
the NFL boys are going to be in there.
Free,
It's going to be
baby.
fun. You're going to
NFL
watch a
boys are gonna
journey.
be in
We're
there.
going to be
Let's go.
posting some content tomorrow. We're going to be out in the
go.
field. It's going to be a
Thank
great
you.
time. Who do you know that would want to be a great guest on the show as well that's in, entrepreneurship, real estate, finance, that would be a great guest in the future that you'd like to see?
I got to give it to a player, another player. And I would say either Devin Kennard, who is a really big time in the real estate too. So we have a nice little group. It's me, Devin Kennard, Marcus Whedon, and Jamar Taylor. And we've built a really cool network of real estate in our little community with us players. And so I would say Devin Kennard or Jamar Taylor, but Devin has a really, both of them would be great. Yeah,
That's
both of
awesome.
them would be
Maybe
great.
we'll have to get him
Let's
on.
get him
here.
on.
Yeah.
Let's get him on.
And
Let's get
Jamar
them
too.
some deals.
Jamar
And
would be great. Yeah,
we'll do
Jamar would
both.
be great. Yeah, he's a big time realtor out here.
Love it. Be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Love it.
Dude, thanks so much for
Man,
coming on.
thank you, brother.
Great to see you. Look forward to tomorrow. It's
Absolutely.
going to be
Appreciate
great.
it. Appreciate
All right,
you, man.
we're going out in the
Epic.
field tomorrow. Right?